Hey guys. Hey gang. It's Halloween season. I don't know what you're
Spooky
doing,
season.
but it's my excuse to dress up like Brad Pitt.
You look like the undershirt with the denim jacket.
Yeah.
You look like Andy Dufresne. Actually, right now you kind of look like Risky Business.
Right? Yeah, right now I feel more like
with the sunglasses.
Right now I feel more like John Denver.
You definitely have more like Denim Dan vibes.
Yeah.
But when you take
I'll be
shirt
more
off,
it's cold down here. So I
Yeah.
wanted, especially with the weather, it was like 40 degrees down here earlier.
yeah, it was not ideal.
I'll be more Cliff Boothy
I thought about
as we
just
go on.
wearing the robe,
And then I'm going Fight Club. I'm taking the shirt off.
I thought about just wearing the robe and being Chaz.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Wedding Crashers, but then I was like, man, sitting in that robe today sounds miserable. I'm going for bulk, so that's why I went with the dude.
It was funny. There were times you mentioned on the podcast feeling like, wow, this is really revealing. And there were times where I'd be like, is this chest hair? Is that just is his? Yeah. Oh yeah. His chest is just out right now.
Yeah, I would look down and be like, golly, I'm just like slipping out over here, like nip slip over here. It was definitely also, yeah, the dude felt like a good time to do this costume because I was like, I got a little extra LBs on me right now, pre-candy weight.
Yeah,
I was like, all right.
Really buying into the role here.
Yeah, I'm diving into the dude.
I do think the dude compliments Cliff Booth. I feel like they're very similar. I've always even said Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it reminds me of The Big Lebowski. Just like in how it's just a weird kind of mystery that doesn't really go anywhere.
They'd have a fun conversation.
Wait, oh yeah.
It would be very laid back.
I could see him at the bar bowling,
Actually, I should probably put on my sunglasses. But then these don't look at all like the dude's sunglasses.
No, you're gonna have the reflection too from the computer.
Yeah, perfect. I didn't want to wear them anyway.
I didn't think about that.
Well, you might have reflection too.
Not as bad though.
Oh
The
yeah, you
computer-
get to wear your sunglasses.
Not as bad though.
Yeah.
I'm Cliff Booth.
Yeah.
You can wear yours. I'm just saying people online are gonna be like,
What
reflection. What's this camera angle? They're gonna get onto us.
Yeah, that's fine.
But speaking of Brad Pitt, one of the reasons I was pumped to put on this get up is I just watched Bullet Train, and for all the making fun I've done of it, it was a lot of fun. I had fun making fun of it, but I gotta say, it's a fun movie. Pretty dumb, but Brad Pitt's the man, and it's very. I feel like he's just into, like me and Brad are just into the same type of stuff, and he's really tapped in.
You
That's
and Brad
what I'm trying
are
to say.
just-
Tapped into like. I don't know, just same thing with the dude. It's a very similar role. He's playing an assassin where he's like been going through therapy. So he's really just like, I'm trying to find the word. I don't know. He's really like centered and like very like forgiving and just trying to change his life.
A mild-mannered assassin.
But he's also caught up in like the John Wick world. You haven't seen it, have you?
No, I saw you rented it the other day though. Because Reed added his Voodoo to my TV,
I did.
and that sounds like you have like Voodoo, but the app
Yeah.
of Voodoo. And I was going through that last night, and I watched Jaws yesterday, which
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Great movie.
great movie.
I actually was gonna tell you when you told me you watched Jaws, like, oh, Bullet Train, but I was like, you need to watch Cabin.
yeah.
I was like, I don't need to give him another movie to watch.
Well,
You can watch it
also
tonight.
Watched Bonesaw Tomahawk.
Oh man, I love that movie.
Holy
Dude,
crap!
That's a movie I wanted to review, but I just felt
Woo!
like not a lot of people would know it.
Yeah, well, it's also freaking.
Did you watch it by yourself?
Yes.
Boy.
Well, Lyric watched some of it, but she also just kind of tapped out. and
It's
was
a
like,
slow burn, but once it gets going, it's,
Once it gets going, wow, man, it was so intense. I keep thinking about the echo, the like way they scream is through the like
oh yeah,
the pipe in their neck.
yeah. It's so gross. Yeah, no, I love that movie. Has kind of broke me a little bit on horror movies though, because like seeing someone split in half.
In half.
That's like that's the most gruesome thing I've seen, and I don't know if it's my.
Well, they
it's the
scalped him
scariest-
right before that too.
Yeah.
They
Oh yeah. No,
scalped him.
all that is so intense.
I didn't know what they were doing
and
at first.
they put it in his mouth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like no, that was like it was like, wow, this is crazy. And that director, he has a few other movies like that where the violence in it is just, you're like, oh my gosh. But even leading up to that, though, I love that the action sequences because they're just so quick and sudden. Like when Jack dies from Lost.
Oh yeah.
What's his name? I feel like it's Matthew. I feel like he's a Matthew.
It is. Isn't it West? Wait,
Wes
no.
Matthew. That's
No. No, it's
Matthew Perry.
Matthew Fox.
Matthew Fox. I knew it was Matthew.
I don't know where I was getting West from.
Such a Matthew.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know either where the West came from, but he's great in that movie.
He is. He's really good.
Like, I did not expect to like him that much, and I thought his whole role, like, he was probably one of my favorite characters.
He had a fun role too, though.
Yeah, but he gets played like the badass.
Yeah, he's just like, I don't give a shit. And like, even when he sets up like the traps at night, and he's just like, all right, like if I hear a bell, I'm shooting. But yeah, everyone shoot, but I doubt you're gonna shoot him before I will.
He has so many great lines. I can't like riddle them off with you because I haven't seen it in a while. But like I don't know. They're so, and Richard Jenkins, he's in Cabin in the Woods.
Yep,
The old man.
I know. I love
he's
him.
Phenomenal.
I
when
had to
he's
look it
talking
up.
about like the problem of how do you read a book in the bath? Like you just get the pages all wet. How do you do that?
I can't hold it. They
Yeah.
always end up dropping it in there half the time.
Yeah. No, I was.
And he asked him like, "Why do you want to know?" And he's like, "Taking a bath's just the best thing in the world."
Yeah.
And I imagine you got to be real fancy to be able to read when you take a bath.
No, I love him. I was like, oh man, this would be who I would be on this crew. the useless old guy that's just kind of like there for comic relief, you know.
I'll avenge you.
That is so funny. He's like, dude, like I was just saying that shit. Like I know you, no way.
It really is such a like, man. I guess I'm hearing it, but
Dude, Kurt Russell though, amazing.
he's so good
As
in
well.
everything, man. I love Kurt Russell.
One of my favorite actors, I think.
He's got to be near the top.
He's one of my favorites. He's just the man. He's awesome.
He's got the best facial hair all the time.
All the time. I
mean,
feel like they
even
could
when
have
he was,
gotten
like,
Jeff
younger-
Bridges for this too. Same thing. Jeff Bridges and Kurt Russell
Like,
when
you
they're
mean Jeff Daniels?
when they're no, I'm not. I'm leaving. I'm not a fan of Jeff Daniels in the Western stuff. But
We always confuse Jeff Bridges and Jeff Daniels. I was trying to trip him up.
you're not helping me out right now. I'm glad I have these glasses on. People can't see my eyes working, trying to keep them separate. But Jeff Bridges and Kurt Russell are both just incredible in their cowboys.
Oh, for sure.
I love it.
Kurt Russell, even like, he's been a cowboy so much. Even when he's in Hateful Eight, he's incredible.
Yeah. No, we were watching that the other night.
He's so good in that.
That's
He's so
great.
good in The Thing, which
The
is not
Thing.
like
And this-
cowboy, but that's equally good facial hair.
But-
It's just younger Kurt Russell
but they
facial
both
hair.
go through hell in these movies. You know what I mean? Like Kurt Russell, I feel like their journeys are similar, where they have to fight just like this crazy beast. He doesn't. You can't imagine. Those things are scary.
Dude. And like you said, the violence comes on so fast. It's like all of a sudden, it's just like you're just getting
Troglodyte.
shot with an arrow,
Yeah.
like out of nowhere.
Well, it's like, oh, your thumb's gone. It's like, well, what?
Oh
Holy
yeah,
hell!
he just chops the dude's.
When I was watching this movie, my first time watching it late at night, I was just like, oh, this is great. I love watching Westerns at night. And I was like, Kurt Russell, this is incredible. And then it was like 12:30, and that stuff started happening. And it was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I like sat up and started watching it more and more and more. And then after it ended, I couldn't go to sleep. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like up till 4:00, like reading on internet feeds and people talking about it, reviews and stuff. Because I was just like, this is insane. Like,
It was wild. It really was like, all right, I gotta like come back down after this.
I did feel like Mom, where I was like who makes this stuff?
I know.
Who thinks this stuff up? You know?
Goodness, they didn't have to show all that.
Yeah.
I know this isn't a podcast about
No.
Bonesaw Tomahawk, but also it was one of those that once I watched it, I was just like, Oh my God. I wasn't so thrilled that we shared a Voodoo account. I was like, all right, I can't just be willy-nilly perusing some of these.
Yeah, you should ask first. But I mean, that I do recommend that movie. It is awesome.
No, it was great. It was.
But you gotta know what you're getting into.
I did not. I went in blind, and
that's kind of how to transition into this movie. That's kind of how I feel Cabin in the Woods a little bit. Or maybe you don't have to know what you're getting into. If you just think it's a generic horror movie, you'll have a good time maybe. But when you go in just like this is an over the top silly horror movie, you'll have a fun time.
I read that they intentionally made the beginning of this movie to throw people off to where they thought they'd walked into the wrong theater.
Oh yeah,
Because it's just like,
just very generic.
yeah, well, it's just different. It's the very beginning. No, I'm talking about the very beginning when it's like the corporate,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and it's not anything to do with like a generic cabin in the woods, like like it's none of the characters you think. It's like what is happening?
Yeah, The Office and all the evil corporation stuff, that keeps me from being like, oh, this is just a generic story off the bat, because you're like, oh, what's going on here?
I want to stay in that world. I like them more than I like
Agreed.
the other characters, hands down.
Agreed. I think I would watch, like, I hate when people are like, I wish this was a series, but I would watch more movies or like a TV show of that Office.
Absolutely.
I even thought the beginning scene had Eric, Billy Madison.
Eric drinks his own pee, Eric.
Yeah, but
He had balls.
I thought it had.
I saw one of his balls. Yeah, they were weird looking.
I thought they had to be doing a West Wing like homage when they had him walking through the hallways talking. Like it's very in the beginning. It's just him.
Yeah.
It feels like the same type of thing. Like I never even watched West Wing, but I imagine there's some dark humor in there. Them being hot, like just being desensitized to everything going on in the hospital, right?
West Wing is not about the hospital.
What's it about? I haven't watched it. I thought it was about a hospital. No, I was on to something.
It's about the President of the United States and D.C.,
Okay.
the West Wing,
Okay.
like of the White House.
I still
And
think there's something there. I still think the shot of him, it just was like the Sorkin hallway shot.
Oh, there's tons of that. I mean, Sorkin loves the walk and talk.
So, who's your favorite character in this movie?
I mean, that's a good question. Probably the stoner kid, but from that standpoint, no, definitely Eric.
Definitely Eric.
Yeah, definitely Eric.
Eric's number one for me, and I think Thor the Stoner Kid are probably the like number two. I think I like Thor more because it's just like he like legitimizes the movie, like where it's like out of that gang of the crew, you're like, okay, well there's one
There's
there's
Thor.
one actor.
There's Thor.
I don't think I've seen anyone else in anything. Have you? I know the Stoner Kid is actually the guy in Always Sunny that examines the poop. He's like the college kid and the gang
No
and who
way!
pooped the bed.
No way. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
You got a turd.
Is that wolf hair?
Yeah.
Inconclusive.
I was like, 'cause I was watching.
Inconclusive.
I was like, I know him from something, and I couldn't even. When I googled him, I couldn't. I looked at IMDb, didn't have it on there, but then I like googled his name with Always Sunny. I think he's like ashamed of it or something.
He does serious stuff like
Yeah,
Cabin in the Woods.
He
now.
tried to clear it, but I found it.
So I read this thing that cracked me up so much about him that when they go swimming in the lake,
Yeah.
he's the only one that doesn't go swimming in the lake.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be like this scrawny little stoner kid, and they even put him in baggy clothing. But they said the reason he actually doesn't go swimming in the lake is because he was the most ripped one of all of them. They said that like they even called him Ripped Jesus, like that
Ah.
even his like joints looked like they had muscles, and he was just like stacked apparently.
Yeah, that would be weird because even Thor isn't like.
He's
He
small.
looks more normal than I've ever seen him.
Well, it's before he got the. So this.
Yeah.
Did you know this movie's how he got Thor?
I heard they like filmed this movie and like shelved it for a while, and then Thor came out and they put it out like afterwards or something like
So
that.
MGM got into like financial trouble or something, so they shelved the movie. But MGM saw the dailies of like the scene right before he drives his like dirt bike
yeah.
into the like force field, and he's just like giving that pup up speech. and they saw that whole moment and they were like, this guy's gonna be like a movie star.
That scene is what got me in the movie. Like the first time watching, I was like entertained, but I was still kind of like, whatever. And then when that happened, I was like, all right, this movie is
pretty
unique.
funny.
Like, 'cause I was like, oh, he's about to save the day, and then it just subverts that, and it's like, no, he's.
And it's such a funny long death, as it just like you're like, this thing just keeps going down.
Oh, I know, he just keeps rattling. It's like, wait, what? It stops being shocking and starts being like, what?
He's falling to the center of the universe.
I feel like it could have been longer too, because I feel like someone could have shouted like, he's got it. He's gonna make it.
He's gonna make it.
You know, I think I was just doing that in my head. So when I rewatched it, I was
even, like,
imagining someone
he's
said
so
that.
high. You're like, oh my gosh, he's like gonna clear it too easily.
The takeoff off that ledge, I was like, okay, come on.
Yeah,
But
it does look
But
like
it is
it's like a
Thor.
ramp.
He is a badass. I love how badass he is, dude. He packs a dirt bike, but not a helmet. How sick is that?
Didn't even notice that.
Prepared for everything, kind of.
Kind of.
I don't think a helmet would have helped out in his defense.
Yeah, the force field. I mean,
I'd rather die, I think, than wind up at the bottom
he
of that.
so cool though.
That would be hilarious if that's how he became Thor. He just like rattles. I don't know what that thing is, but just
Maybe
rattles
like
through
the
and
bottom of it is
I-
like the
I can
beginning
see there
of
being
Thor
a force
2.
field that like, woo, you wind up on that weird ass bridge in Thor. I don't know. You just like
The
what up?
lightning or the rainbow bridge.
Yeah. Ooh, or he dies, and that all Thor is just in his mind. You know.
Maybe that Thor
That's
is
his heaven.
Thor is his like when he's falling. This last like
yeah.
DMT
His, like,
hitting his
delusional
brain.
thoughts, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God. Idris
Wouldn't
Elba.
it be cool if I was Thor?
Wouldn't it be cool if Idris Elba opened doors for me? Oh man, or open gates, I guess. Being technical. Yeah, I like Thor. I like the stoner guy though. He has some cheesy moments, but he's the most interesting character.
He predicts the movie in the very beginning.
Yeah, he's calling out everything, and
Like even in the very, very beginning.
he's always been like the puppeteers and
Well, I'm talking about like on the way there. He's like in the van. I just noticed this for the first time. But he was just like, society needs to crumble. Everyone's just too bullshit. Or everyone's too bullshit to let it happen or something. I can't.
oh
even-
yeah.
I'd have to pull up the quote, but it was like, oh,
Yeah, well, they did a good job of making all that be double entendres and just have double meanings and being like, okay, because it's not so obvious the first time you watch it. You know, you're like, okay, that guy's just, this is his character. He's just this paranoid conspiracy stoner guy.
shout out to my friend comedian Bishop. He he moved to Nashville, but right before he moved, we were doing a set together, and he was like, I just got off stage. He was like, man, I really like what you did tonight. Like your double Sinatras were really cool. I like those double Sinatras. And I was like, what are you saying? He's like, double Sinatras. And I was like, do you mean double entendres? He was like, oh shit, is that what it's supposed to be called? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, did you just think it was like a classy way of saying? He's like, I kind of did.
No, I love that more. Like double entendres, I'm like, ugh, whatever.
Double
Sinatras, like,
man.
that's dope.
It does sound pretty like twice the Sinatra.
Sounds really classy.
Yeah, dude. I give this movie double Sinatras.
Like, you want to class up your sentences, add some double Sinatras.
He'll love that. He'll love that. I'll have to clip this out and send it to him.
That one's for you, guy. Guy I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like the people in charge of the evil company, that's like real life Monsters Inc.
It really is. It really is like real life.
We got to get screams, baby.
but we got to get blood.
Yeah, okay, sure.
It's
sure.
a little bit more.
You gotta have to make it that way.
Disney.
All corporations.
You could argue that Monsters Inc. is the
Yeah.
G-rated version of this movie.
I'm sure Disney, there's a lot of blood behind them making Monsters Inc. They're pretty rude to animators, I think.
I don't think they killed them.
It's bad
I
how they
don't know.
treat them.
You don't know.
They get very disrespected. The scene where the zombie walks in and like throws Jules's head to the other girl.
Yeah.
Like, she should immediately be screaming. He like catches the head and like flips it over.
Didn't see who it was.
Oh, oh shit! I know you. Like,
Ah!
like even if you don't know the person,
I love that it's like a big reveal.
I was relieved because I was like, oh, good. We don't have to go back out in the woods. This guy was actually kind of thoughtful. It was like, here's your loose end.
Wrap the sympathy up for this one. It's over. And I mean, I love that, like, even in that moment, all those guys are like, it's so funny because it's like, it reminded me of like 12-year-old me watching a horror movie when it's like, come on, boobs. Let's see some boobs.
yeah. Just all the guys in there.
Yeah, they're all like, come on, guys, you're being animals. And then they're like, all right, for real, though. They turn up the pheromones. They give them, like, the light, the perfect light and place to lie down.
No, they were my favorite. I feel like this movie could have been, like, almost a masterpiece if, like, the teenager stuff was written better. Like, I know they were trying to go for...
They were,
but like it's
they were
still kind of just
parodying all
boring.
that.
I hate that a little bit though, when it's just kind of like, okay, well, it's still a little boring. It's still sure if you're parodying like bad horror, it's still kind of like, all right, well, this is still kind of bad. I know it's tongue in cheek and they know it, but it's still like that. The worst part of the movie for me is like the first 20 minutes and then the last like 20 minutes or like the last like 10 minutes. Once it kicks up and things are going wrong, I'm on board.
Once Sigourney Weaver dies, it kind of like the movie's over.
Once Sigourney Weaver even steps up, it's like this. Wait, what's going on? Like I'm like, cool. Great actress. I'll watch this, but it, like, for whatever reason, that whole scene with the sacrificing the gods, just I'm like, let's end this movie. Like,
I had just seen Paul before, and then I watched this like maybe 2-3 months after having watched Paul for the first time. And it was kind of like, this is the same reveal of Sigourney Weaver being the person in charge at the end.
oh yeah,
Like, it was kind of like,
weird.
yeah, it was like, this is
She's
the
in charge of a lot of like alien shit.
Yeah, man,
you
people
know?
just love her.
Ripley and Avatar.
Yeah, she's just, if it's,
She's badass though. Like, if you want a
She's
badass
awesome.
lady, you know, there you go. I can't believe they got her. Like, it seemed like, wait, what?
she's definitely the other like big name attached to it. But I mean, think about
she
it.
stinks, and I don't
She
even think it's her
filmed-
job. It's just she can't save the dialogue.
She probably filmed that whole thing in one day.
Yeah,
It was one scene, one like.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel about when we were talking about Black Phone with
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke, yeah, it was just like he probably did that in 2 days. Like, took his check.
If the whole world depended on me killing that stoner dude, he's dead.
Yeah, dude. I guess
How
I'm getting,
selfish.
I guess I'm getting older, but I'm like, these damn millennials, these damn kids.
What is it to? It's you're gonna die either way.
Yeah.
What does it matter
And
if I
they're-
save you 5 minutes?
And their point, they should have more. I don't know. I hated that. I hate the fact that there's a button to just purge all the monsters. Like, why would you ever need that button? You know, it
Yeah.
didn't look like there. It wasn't like that came out in a helpful way. It's like that after that happens, I wish the movie would have ended like right there, right where just the monsters come out and start messing everything up, because it's clear like, okay, this is bad. Like, because like instead it ends with like them just it ends like seeking a friend for the end of the end of the universe.
The body count. It's like everyone.
Yep,
the whole
everyone's
population
died.
of the world.
Let's just hold each other. But the big hand comes up and like slaps down the ground. I just feel like it would have been more appropriate, which is a big middle finger. 'Cause that's just how I felt. Like, at least at that point, it's like I like the movie, but the ending, it's always just like leaves the worst taste in my mouth. I'm like, ugh.
Why didn't she just kill him?
Yeah, she's smart.
Exactly. It really. He's the most selfish
Well,
person.
she's trying to kill him though. But at that point, it gets so melodramatic too.
Yeah, a werewolf shows up.
I do love. What do you have a favorite death?
I mean, it is funny that the merman.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Like
say.
that whole scene where he's just like, "Come on!"
No,
like,
that's my favorite, and that's really when the movie peaks for me. And I'm just so into Eric's character.
oh yeah, it's phenomenal. All the gambling stuff to me hit so hard. It is so fun. I would have been the guy organizing the gambling pool in there. There would have been like coworkers that would have been like, people are dying, man. It's like, we're stuck at work. Like, this is fun. We're gonna do this every year.
Yeah, this office camaraderie.
Are you paying your $200 or what?
I mean, hey, you might as well have some fun with it.
I love the immediate.
I know that my buddies that was like an EMP or whatever, or EMT. I always confuse them, but he
EMT.
He said that like, the humor there is so dark because like people will come in from a car crash, from a DUI or something, and they'll all take bets on like how high the person's like alcohol content.
Oh
was.
yeah.
And like same type of stuff. It's like, hey, well, you gotta.
We're at work.
You gotta find the humor in things. Life's sad. Might as well gamble on it.
Yeah. That's a great. Could you imagine that being a billboard for like?
Your
Tunica.
wife left you. Your kids hate you. Why not come to Vegas? We love you.
Ardmore, Alabama. Play the slots.
Yeah.
Life's sad. Gamble on it.
God, I was trying to think. What's that place in Mississippi?
Tunica.
Never gone there.
Biloxi.
Biloxi.
Too.
Both those places sound so sad.
Where's the
to
place?
gamble.
The Wind Creek in Alabama. That's just slots only. They don't even have blackjack.
Slots only.
Yeah, man.
No thanks. Can't handle the lights. I'm reviewing slots now. Too fancy. I don't like the graphics, CGI. I like practical. Just gambling, feeling like a cowboy.
Smoke and play cards.
Okay. All right. No,
Okay.
No, I was gonna say one thing I like about this movie that it does very well, though. I feel like there's not a way to escape. Like you could like start digging through the tunnel, I guess, but there's
The only way to escape was to do what they did.
Yeah, like you can't get out.
Because I do love when they're in the van and he's like, we can go back to the cabin and we'll go the other way. And she's like, something's always going to happen.
Yeah.
Like a bridge is always going to collapse. And he's like, don't go psycho girl on me now. Like, don't go catatonic on me.
No.
You're all I got.
And then he dies.
He reminded me of like that kid from Coach Carter, his son. But like he had a Disney Channel
Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, he had a Nickelodeon show or Disney Channel show. I can't remember what it was.
That's weird. He really just reminded me of just like
I thought it was that guy.
Well casted because he just felt like a dude that plays football and is kind. I don't know.
That was hilarious when Thor just throws the football out the window and he's like, "Oh, I got it!"
Standing there, yeah. It's like, what is going on? Damn, these kids are cool. Tequila is my lady, my lady. That's the line that Eric says, and I absolutely love it when they're partying down in the office. It's like, I'm like, man, I love this guy. Of course.
Yeah, I would get along.
From darkness there is light. That's what he says. He just has the best. Guy. He has the best line. They're just so funny.
My favorite is when he's like, the guy calls. He's like, "Am I on speakerphone?"
No.
Do you know how rude that is? I don't know who's in the room. That's so rude. And then he's like, "Okay," takes him off.
Yeah.
And then they leave him on speakerphone.
Well, that's the thing. I think the comedy they nail it in The Office.
Oh, The Office stuff is so funny.
A lot of the dialogue and stuff at the back of when it goes back to the woods, I'm like, crap.
Yeah. I'm immediately like, check out more.
Another of my favorite line is when he's like, how'd it go? Like, pretty good. I just be like cooler if it was with a merman. Like, I forgot rewatching it. I was like, man, he is so funny. Like, this movie is funny, and I think it's really not funny. That scary. But some of the violence and some of the like sequences with the zombie killers is like, it's like, whoa. And I never expect, like, when they die, it's pretty unexpected, you know.
Oh, like the guy driving all of a sudden through the neck, and you're just like, oh yeah.
Even Thor, it's like I wasn't.
Thor's was the most unexpected.
It's foreshadowed with the bird too, but even if you're not paying attention, it's still just like Thor's gonna make it.
Yeah,
come on.
He'll ride a lightning
bolt. He's gonna do
exactly
exactly what he said. That'd be funny. I'm gonna limp back. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna save you. Oh wait, that girl died. You can't save her. Then I'm gonna have sex with you. There's like, yeah, Thor, save the day. My joke fell apart halfway, but
The
whatever.
whole world ends. This was what I saw that I would have never noticed. The entry date in the book they read from, the like scary book, is April 4th. Is the same setting as the first chapter of George Orwell's novel 1984, which is all about like camera surveillance.
Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. The director too. He did the Saint Royale. You ever watch that movie?
Oh
The
yeah,
hotel one.
That's
where
awesome.
They had the
That makes
glass.
sense.
It's all about surveillance in the hotels and stuff, and the CIA.
and they have the same window
Yeah.
in both movies. The
Mhm.
the mirror that goes one way.
Because that's an interest. That's kind of what got me into the movie too. Once I learned that, once you like the first time watching it, I was like, "Huh, okay." Like it's almost like they put that there, so they know something's up, but then they don't investigate further. Almost.
Also, weren't they just exploring the house? Why was that girl going in her room and just taking off her shirt for no reason?
It was even stranger to me when it was like the guy's like, "Let me switch rooms," and then he's just like pulling out his junk right in front of the mirror. Just gets completely naked. Like, yeah. I was just like, okay, like
This
I
is
guess he's
weird.
confident. Good for him. Body positivity. I think the movie though. I think the ending would have been way better if it was just them being trapped in the box, them being trapped in the glass box. With
I kind of thought that was going to be the ending.
I felt like there should have been several endings. Like there were like several moments where I was like, "Here's the ending." I was like, "Oh, that's a good ending," and then it just kept going.
It felt very Solar Opposites in that moment, where
Yeah.
it was like the people in the wall in Solar Opposites, where
Yeah.
they're just like
Just continuing the
shrunk
storyline.
down. Well, no, like when they are in the box.
Oh, okay. I
And
understand
you're
what
just
you mean
seeing
now.
all the different things. It's like, oh man, like it just, I don't know. It felt like that a little.
Do you think U.S. Army government they can survive the threat of all these monsters coming out, or is the world just done? That could
the
be that
world-
could be a sequel actually. If you think about it.
But the world blew up. The world exploded.
Did it explode? 'Cause I just saw like the hand comes up, gives you
Yeah.
the middle finger. Get out of this theater. This shit's dumb. You're dumb for liking horror movies. That's kind of how I felt a little bit. Like this, I don't feel like the guy that wrote this movie likes.
Yeah,
a
the
lot
whole
of-
world is destroyed.
He probably does.
Everyone
like horror
dies.
movies, but he's also like, I'm sick of
It's
them.
king. It's some Greek god. I forget.
Okay, I didn't know it blew up. I didn't know it blew up.
Kyotos or whatever. Kyotos.
Right around that, no problem. And the world didn't blow up, and like if all those monsters just released, I feel like the U.S. government could handle it. But I guess since things blew up, I don't know.
Just make Ghostbusters 3.
Yeah, dude. That's what I was thinking about The Exorcist. Like, oh man, they need Bill Murray up in here. That'd really bring some levity to this movie.
Drop Seth Green in a trash can.
Oh yeah. That sounds funny. That's a cute.
I thought that
that's
was
a
hilarious.
Cute little joke. Like,
Yeah,
if Bill Murray threw me in the trash right now, I'd be like, "Thanks, Bill."
And he was even like, trash
It-
goes in the trash
That'd
can.
be one of the best days of my life. Like, seriously. You know how much I'd tell that story on this podcast? I'd be like, y'all remember when Bill?
He beat me up with my ankles and threw me in the trash can.
Wow.
And it even Seth Green was like, it was because I was like sitting in his
He
chair.
said he punched him in the balls.
Yeah, he punched him in the balls.
So it was like, okay, man.
So
it would
you
have
just
been
admitted
worse.
to assault.
So he was
kid.
doing a bit, a pretty hilarious bit that you probably weren't picking up on. You weren't yes-anding, and then you punch him in the ball. What do you expect? Natural reflex. He's lucky he didn't get like slapped or something.
Dude, what the story should be, Bill Murray popped the shit out of me one time.
Bill Murray ruined Seth Green. Straight wrecked him, bro. I also thought when the elevator door opened up security. Yeah, I said that. Sorry.
That's
feel like
hilarious
that
when
could've been
all
another
the
ending.
monsters come out.
Yeah,
at
I love
once.
seeing the monsters come out and do their thing. I was like, oh, I'm so glad, because it would have sucked if it was like they showed us all those monsters and then that's it. They're just locked away.
Even
I wanted to see Merman, you know.
so did Eric until he did.
Merman a lot uglier than Aquaman. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he was
I was
not.
expecting Aquaman.
He was not very attractive.
No Jason Momoa here.
And all the blood squirting out. It was very poor guy. What would have happened? So here's what my thought. I'm an explorer. If I had gone in that basement, I'd have picked up everything. I'd be like, what do you think this is? What is
Damn.
this?
Dude,
Well-
that's a good question because I love antiques.
Yeah,
This is my house. Look around. Like,
no, I would have touched everything in there.
Yeah.
It to some extent been like, what is this? Oh, like I wouldn't have read the journal. That's so stupid that she's like, I'm gonna read the Latin, and even the stoner kid's like, don't read the
Dude,
Latin.
oh my
Like,
gosh. Once again, right on top of it. But yeah, it's like, are you serious? Like Latin?
Yeah, like what?
When
are you
has
doing?
that ever been good for anybody?
Yeah, like come on, it's a dead language for a reason. But there's no chance I don't touch at least 10 things. So do I have 10 things coming after me, or is it just the first
Just the
thing
first
I touch?
It's the first thing.
Okay.
God, and it was almost Merman.
And I would
That
have
conch.
I would have been dead so fast. Who would you have wanted to be killed by? If you like
I don't know if that's a good. I mean, it's a good question. I don't think I have a good answer.
yeah, I mean no one wants to die. There's all of them look pretty gruesome. I think the snake would be the least painful because it just looked like he was eating people, but it would be terrifying.
So Jafar from Aladdin in snake form. Probably that dude, the Hellraiser looking dude with like the blades through his
Yeah.
face. I don't know what he does. I don't know if I saw him in action.
He always just looks sad.
Yeah, so maybe I can connect to him. You know? Why? Why are you feeling this way? You know, I don't know. Do you have a guy that you're like, man?
Well,
that
who
looked-
would you least want to be killed by? Maybe that's a better
Probably
question.
Merman. That looked awful. He was very ugly. Cleanup was bad.
The ballerina girl looks scary.
I'm not really that afraid of little girl. Actually, I'd say bring her on because I bet. I mean, she might get the better of me, but I mean, even though I guess if you another one, the ghoul that the Chinese girls or the Korean or Japanese, I don't know. Sorry, but
the ring girl.
yeah, maybe
she's
I can
scary.
defeat her.
Samara.
I hate that girl though. Both Scary Movie 2 and 3, and maybe just all the Scary movies. I watched those so many, and they're supposed to be funny, but those scenes would scare me with the Ring Girl or
Yeah.
the Exorcist too. So both the movies, when I actually watched them, it almost like desensitized me to them a little bit because I'd seen the joke version of them.
Yeah.
But those still scared me though. Like I'd be like, oh god.
Think about the scary movie. I guess it's 3. Where it's like, your love has healed me. I will be a regular
Yeah.
girl now.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah. Classic Charlie Sheen. That's great movie.
Yeah, I just remember him having like the huge boner and punching it.
Oh yeah, well, oh yeah. Yeah. Why is that?
I can't even remember. I just remember it being so ridiculous.
I just the best scene is when he does the scene with the car wreck with the cop with the
Oh,
hot
yeah,
dog.
yeah.
It's like what way is she?
What way
split?
was she split in half?
Yeah, it's just I love the line. It's the guy who kills his wife is like, hey, you mind giving me a ride? Man, that is so funny.
I forgot all about that.
That's like it's like I feel like I rewatched it a few years ago and it was kind of like, oh yeah, I remembered everything. And that line, I was like, what? That is so awesome.
That's a great line. But you never answered. Who would you least want to be killed by?
Merman,
Oh yeah, you did. Sorry.
Merman. That's just scary, especially in that way. Like he's just on the ground. It's just like, oh god, what is about to happen?
They just ate him.
Slowly, I think.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was gonna be quick.
Do you have an answer?
Yeah, I think I said I'd want to be eaten by the snake first. I think like honestly, like the cannibals or the zombies, like being pulled apart sounds just awful.
Yeah.
Or even that like
I've never.
zombie that had the whatever that thing was that he was throwing that looked like an animal, like a bear trap.
Oh yeah.
That I like that looked
Mhm.
awful as crap.
Yeah, as crap, definitely. No, I thought that reminded me of Kung Pao though, like and just the Bruce Lee movies. They always have something like that. And I guess we need to next year. We need to wait a while before we watch any more horror movies. But Dude, have you ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah.
The first one, like from like
The
73
original, yeah.
or whatever. We need to watch that. That's another OG that people are like, I think it's scarier than any of the modern stuff.
I've seen several of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, even like the original.
I've seen none except one. I feel we watched it on a laptop with you, but I bowed out after like 10 minutes because the opening scene, a girl pulls a gun out of her private parts.
Yeah,
and kills herself. And I was like, you know what? I'm okay. I'm not gonna watch this.
Yeah,
I was like 12 too.
Well,
I was just like,
isn't Matthew McConaughey
are
Leatherface?
guns? Is that where they keep guns? Is there just in case of emergency gun that women have there?
Isn't Matthew McConaughey Leatherface in one of them?
I don't
like the
know.
original. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I might be completely. That might be so
All right. Let me put you up on this hook right here, baby.
Runs.
You know what I love about being a serial killer? I get older, they stay dead. Is there any other scary movies or anything you see yourself watching, like before we get to Halloween, just on your own time?
Yeah, so there's several things that have kind of like caught my eye that I've been like, okay, I kind of want to watch that. I was in a mood to watch Jaws. That had been like one that I've been like, oh man, I can't explain it. It had just been one that we had talked about a couple times.
It's a classic. You need to watch it.
Just the soundtrack's so great. Honestly, it put me to sleep. I'd had a fire.
It's a comforting, scary movie.
It really
I can't
is.
like fall asleep to it. Like as much as I used to be so terrified of Jaws. At this point, I still am scared, but it is just like I'm not going.
I'm not
there.
in this boat. I'm never gonna be in the ocean.
Yeah, I hate the ocean.
Yeah, the only time I'm in the ocean is if my plane has crashed. Like I'm not getting in the ocean.
Yeah, dude. I don't even skimboard anymore. I don't even want to take the chance. And I love skimboarding.
Yeah, a lot of the majority of the shark attacks in Jaws were in shallow water.
Oh yeah, they were. I didn't like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But honestly, I don't know if you remember this, and I don't know if it's just a fake memory of mine. Sometimes that can happen with dreams or whatever. But I remember being a kid in the days where I was wearing like a red tube, and a tiger shark like swam up, and I know it's a tiger shark. I don't even think it would attack or whatever, but it swam up like when we were at the Purple House, Orange Beach or whatever, and
we all had to like run.
We all like were like looking at it, and it was just like,
it was like a scene where it was like everyone out of the water and people were running.
And I was in my tube, which was keeping me.
You were just rolling.
I seriously think you or Dad or so. It might have been you though. Like picked me up and like was like, all right, we got to get you out of here because like I like literally was like, this is a nightmare. So I think like that trauma has made me like hate Jaws especially, and I'm terrified of mechanical Jaws, like the theme park Jaws. Like we went.
Oh yeah, we went and did that
Universal when you go in the shed or whatever. Like just the idea, and they show photos of the old like. Not haunted, but it's like the old park that's been
old haunted shark
been abandoned. I was gonna say abandoned theme park. People sneak in and take photos, and the mechanical Jaws is I hate it. I hate it. So like even when I watch the movie, the idea that it's a mechanical shark scares me just as much. I'm like, what if something goes wrong? What if the Jaws actually go down? Like, oh god.
I always keep thinking he's gonna shoot the like thing one bullet before he does, and I realize now like he says the line every time, like right before he hits the like air tank, and blows Jaws up. But I'm always like a bullet off. I'm always like he's about to, and then he shoots and misses again. I'm like
yeah. He last time I recently watched it in theaters in 3D. They just put it out.
Oh, nice.
And Dad went with me, and we both had this same takeaway. It was so funny because we both seen the movie on TV. He's probably seen it more than I, but I've seen it like 4 or 5 times now. But I do like fall asleep to it and just kind of relax to it because it is comforting just hearing the ocean.
Yeah.
And
ocean's great to listen to, terrible to be in.
But we both were like, I told Dad, I was like, man, I really used to think the explosion kind of came out of nowhere. But they really did build it up a lot. Like they say it like 3 or 4 or 5 times where he's like, be careful with that tank. That thing will explode. And then he like bumps it. He's like, what are you doing? It will explode. And like, I was like, wow, I'm pretty dumb. Like, never noticed that.
Yeah, there's a lot of foreshadowing there.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? You have anything you're gonna watch, or is that a wrap on scary movies?
I've been watching Nope a lot though. I just bought it. I would recommend watching that.
We-
I want to do
I'm
a
gonna
pod on
watch
that,
one.
but this would be my rec for you though. It feels like Peele was trying to make Jaws, but like in like tone, and it has a lot of similar like characters. It feels like the same type of movie. It even has a weird at the end. I guess I can't. I
Yeah,
don't want to
ruin it. I'm better.
Has some similarities to Jaws, but it's very comforting. It's scary. It feels like Jaws and Signs, Shyamalan with like aliens. It's just a movie that I could see you watching and being like not terrified of, and being like, oh wow, this was actually really good.
All right, I'll check it out. It's on the Vudu. I saw it. I was like that and Bullet Train. Are
Oh
definitely
yeah,
on my like.
you gotta go Bullet Train immediately. I think. And to close the pod, I feel like we're pretty much there. But last pod, we didn't get in our answers for what Brad Pitt would win in a fight.
Oh, that's true.
I thought it'd be a good way to end it since we've been talking about Bullet Train.
What
Bring it
is
back.
Clint Booth, Fight Club, and
Snatch Pit.
And Snatch Pit.
Yeah.
Snatch Pit sounds like a great bar. Dude, you go to the Snatch Pit.
It reminds me of Lost. Bring it back to that. Charlie's Band, like Drive Shaft.
Straight Drive
Yeah,
Shaft.
I just saw Snatch Pit
Tonight,
the other
Drive
night.
Shaft at Snatch Pit.
Yeah, it does sound like a Guitar Hero, like somewhere you play in the early, like your first venue.
Good old Snatch Pit. Two
But-
for ones. That's a great question. Cause you wanna like, what do you? I think you'd have to like lean Snatch Pit. Clint Booth, I think, would be the least. Like he would be like the one to kind of avoid it more than anything. Like if he'd be like, huh.
He would
That
be
guy
worried
kinda-
about getting arrested. That's true.
He would just be like, that guy kind of looks like
he's,
me.
he's trying not to kill, probably.
Why would I hurt someone that looks like me?
But he is a war veteran. He is like Green Beret and can kill some. He's killed a lot of men. So
I think if he saw himself, he would more freak out that he was still on his acid cigarette and be like, I just got to go lay down.
that would be even crazier. He's like pointing, like, "Are you real? Are you real?" And like one of them's like, "Yes," and then Tyler Durden's like, "Oh no." Man, this would be a great fight. I always thought.
Yes, he'd immediately tap out. He'd be like, all right, this
Yeah.
is too much.
I always thought since our last pod, since I conceived this question, I thought that Cliff Booth would let Snatch Pit punch him first because that's how he lets Bruce Lee. That's how he like learns his opponent. But Snatch Pit might just like kill him the first punch.
Yeah, that is true.
And then if Brandy's there, Snatch Pit's just so good with dogs that he'll be confused too. He'll be like, "Wait, what?"
He'd be like, hey, Doug.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey, Doug.
yeah. You like other digs.
Hey,
But I don't know about Tyler Durden. He's a wild card.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's kind of like you said, is he real? Is he not real? Is it Edward Norton actually? Because like, if it really is just Edward Norton, then yeah, I mean, like Brad.
Well, it's like the mind. It's like
but if it's like Edward Norton fighting, thinking he's Tyler Durden, but it's still Edward Norton. Every version of Brad Pitt is going to wreck Edward Norton.
yeah. It's a hard one to discuss because you get into that the metaphysical plane, I guess. But I do think Snatch Pit though, when he gets punched in the boxing fight at the end of Snatch, he like goes down into the sunken place,
Yeah.
which is like I feel like depression for a lot of people. The sunken place, you can look at it as like a metaphor that way. But then he pulls himself out, knocks the guy out. So I think that proves that Snatch Pit mentally can handle Tyler Durden.
I would agree. No arguments. I think sold.
Yeah, no, I've really ironed this idea
The
out.
fact that he goes into the sunken place is hilarious. Because, like, I mean, no one can pull themselves out of the sunken place.
no, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, holy cow, he's in the sunken
Oh,
place.
man, that sucks. Tough fall.
That's a tough punch.
Yeah.
People, I bet, you get punched, it changes how your brain chemistry. I'm sure some
Do you
fighters
think the
feel like
sunken
they're in
place
the
is just
sunken place.
CTE?
See,
Where it's just a person
it
that is
can
just
be.
trapped inside.
I think there are many routes to find your place in the sunken place. And with that, I feel like we should close. I feel like we're at a good point.
And this podcast sponsored by the NFL. So, well, you said, before we wrap up, you said you recommended me to watch Get Out, or not Get Out,
Nope.
but Nope. And then or do you have something that you're looking for that like you might watch?
Probably just Nope again. Like, it's just so rewatchable.
Okay, but you're not like, oh, I saw this.
I feel like I've gotten my fill. I saw Barbarian. It's in theaters. If you want a scary movie in theaters, I'd say go watch that. Because it's like there's some good humor in it. It's fun. It's like scary too.
Who's in it? Anybody?
Justin Long's in it.
Oh man, I can't do Justin Long again. I just watched Tusk and it was so stupid.
Well, it's probably a better version of than Tusk.
Yeah, no way. I can't do it again.
But Justin Long, I mean, he's been in a lot of horror movies. He's in Jeepers Creepers or whatever. I've never seen that one either, but I knew he was in it. But he's not like the lead. But if you watched it, his character's so good. Like, it's probably the best Justin Long character I've ever seen. I don't know. He's just really. He's
better than Dodgeball. Justin Long?
He's an actor or like a manager or something that just gets canceled, and he's just dealing with like being canceled while like this horror movie's going on. that's kind of the my pitch for you. And like the humor in it's so good. It's not terribly scary, but it is like it didn't stick with me where I'm like, that's so scary. It's not like The Exorcist or whatever, but it's effective. It works. I think I don't know if you'd like it that much though, but you'd find it really funny.
Well, I'm definitely gonna watch Nope.
If Lyric was like, if your girlfriend was like, we got to go see a movie, I'd be like, go watch that one. If you had to go see a scary movie, probably better than Smile. Smile doesn't look funny.
No, yeah, I don't think I'd like that one very much.
You won't be smiling.
No, I saw that and was like, I saw that one and was like, nope.
But no, I'm done scary movies. If I watch any, it'll be Tucker Dale vs. Evil.
Nice.
But even then, I just feel like I'm over it, and we're 10 days away from Halloween.
You've gotten your fright. Well, I've got to play one on Halloween. I'm doing the projector in the yard.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be so many. I'm trying to think of like a good movie because there's going to be so many kids. Just like I can't like do something that's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre or something that's gory or anything that. Also, so many classic scary movies like Friday the 13th, Halloween also have like random nudity in it. Where it's like, oh yeah, there's that one sex scene. Like, can't put that up. So I'm like forced now to like thinking about like Disney scary movies, unless you can think of like a Evan recommended Psycho, but even that's just like, because I'm not going to do it with sound. It's just going to be in the background.
I like the idea of an old black and white because that just like adds kind of like a spooky mood, like even an old Dracula or something.
That's true.
Just adds a spooky mood, like especially if a movie you don't need to even like silent movies are just creepy in general.
That is true. An old like Nosferatu or something.
I wouldn't go to your house if I was like, oh my god, let's get candy anywhere else.
What's the Night of the Living Dead? Isn't that the movie that Camille shows in? Oh gosh, the movie where she dies or doesn't die but gets sick. It's not called Lovesick. What is it called?
I don't know.
Oh man, it's about his real life.
Who?
Camille Nanjiani.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking
Judd
about.
Apatow.
Now. I know what you're talking about. They don't need to know.
All right, cool. We'll leave it at that.
The Sick. Big Sick.
Big Sick. Big Sick. I said the sick.
Oh, okay.
I got the sick.
Yeah. Is that it? Was that all?
I kind of forgot what I was going to say.
I know that was going somewhere. But all right, it's going nowhere. Thanks for listening. Check us out. Check us out on YouTube. We're on the tube. I guess you're probably watching if you're looking.
We also joined TikTok.
We're on the talk. And yeah.
Instagram. We're everywhere, dog.
Check us out. Bye.
Watching movies till we die.